Hey, what's going on, folks? Today is May 26, 2025. I am in the lab today. Just want to show you something that I worked on yesterday. Today is Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day for any of you guys. Or a very reverent Memorial Day for those of you who celebrate, right? Yeah, so let's get into what I want to show you today. This is something that I worked out yesterday, but I'm going to kind of show you from start to finish how I came up with it, and maybe you'll see some of the utility in it. All right, so we're going to start at 05, 26, 25 condition chaining. So this is one of the things that I thought about as I put together my programs. Is I say, hey, there's instances where you're going to have the chart is going to have different things happen. Okay, so as they happen, we might say that we want to find these different conditions, right? So you see here, we have the volume, which is represented as ticks in the reserved word for Tradestation easy language. We might want to see that the ticks is greater on one bar than the prior bar. We might also want to see that there is a bearish bar. We might also want to see that price is below a descending trend line. We might also want to see that price has dropped below the 9-period moving average or something like that. So let's bring a 9-period moving average on here. EMA, let's see. Moving average, one line. Let's do a moving average one line, and this is a moving average, but we're going to be pretty much using a simple moving average. This is, I think, an exponential moving average. You see this moving average here? So we want to find times where we want to take an entry to go long, right? So I know this is near market open here, so you want to be really skeptical about whether or not you take this just yet. But if you were to look for entries where the bar is under the 9-period moving average, right? Where it's under the 9-period moving average, and the ticks, the amount of volume is higher than the bar before it, right? So this one here, ticks is higher than the bar before it. And also, let's say we have a bearish candle here. This is a bearish candle. Okay, here. All right, so I'm gonna show you what I typically do. One of the things that anybody who's been watching my channel has seen that I've done numerous times over the course of the my programming career, if you will. And again, I'm an amateur. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional programmer or a professional day trader or anything like that. So everything you see on here, take it for a grain of salt. All right, so we're going to start with the EL system. We're going to be using EL system collections as well, because we're going to be using a vector. I don't think we're going to use a dictionary or anything like that, but we will be showing some plots here. So again, so one of the things I typically might want to do is I'm looking for these conditions, right? So I'm saying if open is less than the 9-period moving average, we'll do the XA9, then plot 51 low below SA9 or XA9, and then we'll make it red. Boom. Okay, so come over here and we'll open it up. That's 5, 6, 25. So show me. All right. Five, 625 condition chaining. Okay. All right. So these instances here that have been identified are where the open is under the 9-period moving average, right? Okay. So if I see that, so typically what I do is I come in and I say, oh man, I want the open to be under the 9-period moving average, right? And then I say, this is a bearish bar. So I tell you what, let's also make it a bearish bar. So I say, if the open is under the 9-period moving average and it's a bear, then we're going to plot it. Okay. So, and we lost the bear here. What? Interesting. Oh, well, I think this open is not technically under the 9-period moving average. This open is on the 9-period moving average. So I tell you what, let's, instead of the open, let's make it the middle of the bar. So the high, low, 2. Okay. All right. So if the middle of the bar, the high plus the low divided by 2, if the middle of the bar is under the 9-period moving average and it's a bearish bar, then we're going to identify it. Okay. So now we got two conditions there, right? Okay, so now let's make a third condition where the ticks, this volume, is greater than the volume before it. Okay, so we should be filtering out some more. Some more potential entries. So, and ticks is greater than ticks of Argo. Okay, so now this one still qualifies. These other ones don't qualify. Okay. All right, so, and like I said, this one looks good. We're like, okay, all right, this is how you filter. This is kind of cool. But then it would give us this one, which it keeps dropping. It would give us this one, which is not bad. It would give us this one, which is pretty good. It would give us this one, which is not bad. It would give us this one, which is not so good. Or these, which are not so good. All right, so, and again, you could add other conditions on just like that, where you're adding them on consecutively. Okay, so, but what I've decided to do is, instead of adding them on consecutively, I just want to know if they happen prior to the potential entry. Okay, so I want to know if these happen, and they don't have to happen on the same bar. So the problem here is that you get one that happens and they all have to happen on the same bar. So what I was thinking about while I was just kind of hanging out yesterday, was I said, all right, well, they don't have to happen on the same bar, but I do want them to be in some type of chain. I need one to happen first, and another one happen, and another one happen. So what sequence they happen in, I'm not really into that yet. I just need to know that all three of these have happened. They don't have to happen on the same bar. But we did find out the series of the sequence as well. So what I did from there was I said, all right, well, in order for us to find out when these happen, I need to have a variable. And it doesn't have to be a variable, but when these things do happen, they need to save to some type of instrument, some type of variable, some type of storage collection to let us know that one of these things has happened. And then we can also then maybe kind of keep an order. Okay, so what we're going to have is we're going to have a variable. It's going to be a vector. We're going to call it vector chain, vector condition chain null. And I'm going to attach this. What I've started doing recently is, I don't know if it's going to help or hurt me in the long run, but under analysis technique, I'm going and doing an event handler under initialize, and then I'm going ahead and starting up my instantiations and some of my initializations there. So we're going to put this vchain here. Vchain equals new vector. Okay. All right. So now that we get the new vector instantiated, then we can say, all right, if any of these things happen, let's put some information in the vector. We're going to put a string in the vector. We're going to put just information in the vector in the way of a string. You could do it with numbers. You could do it with characters. You could do it with a bunch of things. But for me, for right now, I think something that I can understand as a word would be great. All right, so for here, we'll say hollow 2. Okay, so we'll say, all right, let's have a, in my other one, I made a variable for it, but let's see if we can do it without a variable. We'll say if hollow 2 is less than xa9, then vchain.insert 0, we're going to insert the word xa9. Okay. All right. And so that will be at its own index. Okay. And then we'll say if it's a bear, then vchain.insert 0 bear. This is all case sensitive. If ticks is greater than ticks of a bargo, then vchain.insert 0. We'll just put ticks. All right, let's put volume, vol, because it's representing the volume. Okay, so now this is going to put all the information into the vector, into that collection. Anytime one of these things happens, and it will put it in there in the order in which it processes it. Right. So if on the same bar all of these things are true, then in that vector it will first have xa9, and then more recent it will say bear, and then at the 0 index it will say vol. If all three of those happen on the same bar. If this one happens on the current bar, it'll say vol. If this one happens on one bar ago, then the index or the element of that first position, number one position, will say bear. And if this happens also on the last bar, not the current bar, but the bar before it, if both of these happen on that same bar, then it'll say vol, bear, x89, working in reverse order. Okay, so this is what I'm interested in doing. I want to say, all right, if I do have this great swing low here, then what is the sequence at the chain, like 4 positions prior to this? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say if this is 9:26 a.m. If we're on this one, because this would be the best, lowest possible entry. All right, so if we're at 9:27 on May 26, so if date equals 125:05:26 and time equals 09, I think it was 27. Yep. Then x print vect. Now that's a method. I'm about to define it now. Method void x print vect. It's going to be, we'll have a variable for an index to work through our loop. Begin in 4 idx equals 0 to, let's go to 3. That'll give us 4 indexes, right? We have the 0 index, first, second, third. Okay, so that's 4 places. What we want to do is we want to begin, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a string, and this will be x string. So x string is going to then be built. We're going to build it by attaching whatever's in this index, starting with the most recent. Okay. So it'll say vchain of idx of a as type string, plus we're going to put a comma there, and we won't put any spaces in between it. We'll just put a comma. Okay. All right, so when we get through this entire loop, we should have 4 words or 4 of these identifiers separated by commas. Okay. Now, before we do this xprint vec, even though it's this time, let's just also make sure that we do have 4 positions in this vector. Okay, so and vc chain dot count is greater than or equal to 4. It's just good practice. Okay, so when we get down here, then we'll say, all right, print. Yeah, because we're only doing this once. Print bar date time dot to string, and then we're going to put a space, and we'll put what we are. We'll put the x string. Okay, and I think that's it. All right, let's verify it. All right, we verified it, and now you see the output that we got on May 26, 2025 at 9:27. This bar here, we have that we're under the 9-period moving average. We have a volume, we have a bearish candle, and then we are under the 9-period moving average. So this candle here, it's not a bear, so it wouldn't do that. It is under the 9-period moving average, but the volume is, you see the volume here, it's not greater than this volume. So it wouldn't be identified as volume or bear, but it is identified as under the 9-period, XA9, right? So XA9, and then this one before it, the bar before it, is got the volume because the volume is greater than the one before it. So it's got the volume, and it's also a bearish candle, and it's also got the midpoint under the 9-period moving average. So you see here we got the volume, bear, and XA is under the 9-period moving average. Okay, so that's pretty much how we're going to use this. this condition chaining. So what we're doing is we're working backwards, and that's what I had to do. I decided yesterday. I said, you know what, I need to really focus on working backwards when I'm doing this program, and not working forward and trying to optimize and that kind of thing, because it's going to be an ever-moving target, which the market is an ever-moving target anyway. But I need to start working backwards. So what I want to do now is I'm going to say, all right, well, if we have a swing point of 8 bars on either side, it's greater than 0, then begin. If we have a swing point, then we're going to, let's identify it first. Plot 53 is going to be, we're going to plot it 8 bars ago, so now we know where we're at. Plot 53, 8, low, and that's going to be the low of that 8 bars ago. Swing low of 8 bars. We're going to make this blue. All right, we'll kind of comment out this other one for right now. We'll just put in a dummy value. Value 99 equals 1. All right, now verify. So now this is a swing low of 8 bars. There's a swing low of 8 bars. There's a swing low of 8 bars. Okay. But if we have a swing low of 8 bars, now what we want to do is we want to identify what this chain looks like. We want to identify what this chain looks like. Now, I did have one other one that I worked with yesterday. It was essentially if I was looking for the slope. So if linear regression slope is less than 0. Oh, linear regression of the close of 9 bars is less than 0. Then we're going to do vchain.insert 0, and we're going to put len reg. Okay, and also I need to get rid of this capital here, make it all lowercase, because when we're searching for it, it's going to be case sensitive. Okay, all right, so now we're going to verify that. All right, so no issues there. Now when we come in, like I said, when we do have a swing of 8, bars, then we're going to plot here so we see where it's at. But also, I want to know what this chain looks like. I want to know what this chain looks like starting from this 8th bar. Now watch this. When I plot that there, now I'm going to say, go ahead and give me X. Go ahead and give me the X print vect. Okay. So I also need to make sure that I have at least 4 if the chain dot count is greater than or equal to 4. Then print that. Okay, so here we go. So now you see what we have: volume, 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 bear. And this obviously was a time where volume was steadily increasing. But the problem here is you see where it says print the bar date time. Now this is the swing low right here, right? It's at 9:27 on May 26. Let's scroll down. On May 26, where's our 9:27 at? We don't have it. What's happening? Well, in order for us to have this swing low here, it has to have 8 bars with a higher low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This time right here is 9:35. So in the 9:35 bar, it qualifies that this, yes, indeed, was a swing low. Well, hindsight is 20/20, right? If we knew down here that this was going to be a swing low, surely we would have taken the trade. But all the way up here, at this point, the move has happened, right? So at this point, you're hard pressed to take along. All right, so we need to know down here what, instead of finding out that it was volume, volume, len reg, volume, up here, we need to find out what this sequence is for these 4 prior. Okay, so what we need to say is if vchain.count is greater than or equal to 4, then xprint vec. What we're going to do is we're going to have a variable that's going to compute this string for every bar. Now, like I said, I just kind of put this together last night, so there might be another way for me to think about this and keep from having to do this on every bar, but for right now, this works. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to have a string, and it's going to be called z Z Z chain. All right, and we're going to instantiate it. It's going to start off as being nothing there. Okay, so Z chain. So every time when we do this guy here, it's going to be Z chain. All right, Z chain. All right, and before we add stuff to it or before we do anything, we're going to make Z chain. Make sure the Z chain is empty. Okay, then we don't need to print anything here, but what we will do is come down here, and on every bar we're going to go ahead and figure out what the Z chain is, what this chain of events is prior, on every bar. So we need to do this x print vect on every bar. Okay, as long as we have a count greater than 4. If DC chain dot count greater than equal to 4, then x print vect. All right, and then if we do have a swing low of 8 bars, then we want and we're here, then we want to go back and say, well, what was that chain at that 8 bars ago, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to print out, we'll clear this. We're going to print out print bar date time of 8 bars ago to the string. And also, we're going to print what this Z chain is. Well, we don't want to print out what the Z chain is currently, because remember, it took us 8 bars to identify that we do have the swing low. So we don't want to identify what the Z chain is right here. We want to identify what it was back here. So Z chain, and because this is saved in a serial serial fashion, you just do of 8 bars ago. Now hit verify. All right, so now when we go back and we look, and we're looking for May 26th, we're going to look for this 927. You see 927 there? And then this is the chain that happened at 927. So now you say, all right, Eric, well, what do I do with this information? I said, I don't know. All right, but what you can do with it is I'm going to rerun it. Okay, I'm going to take all this information here. I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to open up Excel. And then now we'll do a little bit of data analysis here. Excel open. I just pasted it. I'll come over here, use the import wizard. And it is delimited, yes, by a comma. Okay. All right. So now that we have these here, now there's one thing. If you notice here, it actually has my first value here, linreg. Okay, so we need to go back and redo this. All right, so when we redo this, we need to put a comma here instead of a colon, and then that way it will comma delimit it as well. So the bar date time, comma, and then the Z chain. Okay, verify that. Come back over here. I need to clear this, and so I get a fresh recording. Copy all, copy, come back here. Let's just do a new sheet. And we're going to paste it. Import text wizard, yes. Comma delimited. Here, here. Okay, now we have our bar date times and we have our string. Now, what I'm gonna actually do is go back and rejoin these. And I'll show you why. Because I need to sort these. I need to sort these according to the actual combination. So I do need the combination to be all together. All right, so watch what I do. Text join. And this is stuff that I've learned along the way, just messing with programming and Excel and everything. Like, I didn't know how to do this a year ago. False, and then we're going to join all these. Okay. All right, so that's what you have. So linreg, vol, bear, and xa9. Okay. Double click that. It gives us the calculation all the way down to the bottom. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to find out how many of these are unique. So we go over here, type in UNIQUE. All right, what's the array? What are we searching? This is the array this is the span of data, comma. True will give you the number of unique columns. If you put false, you have the number of unique rows, which we only have one column. So we're looking for the number of unique rows. So we're gonna put false, and then exactly once, no, it's false also. Okay, so these are the unique combinations that we have here across all these days from 519 through 526. And this is also probably needs to be more filtered because this is all times a day, pre-market, after hours. So we really need to do it for some consistent times. That's something to work on later. But now what I want to do is I want to say, all right, well, now that I have the unique number, there are from row 3 to row 257, so 254 line items here. Out of those 254, we have 25 unique combinations out of these 200 or so line items. So now we need to find out how many occur the most often, right? That's what we're getting to. All right, so we're going to put equal sign. We're going to say count if. So we're gonna go through that whole array, that range here, and now we're going to count how many times what happens. This happens. Enter 74 times. Double click this, and now you see how often each of them happens, right? So this by far happens the most for your swing lows. This is the second runner-up. This is the third runner-up. This is the fourth runner-up. So if you wanted to try to get a high probability setup just based on these conditions, and there's 1,000 different, there's a million, there's an infinite number of conditions you could use. I mean, some of them are obviously more important than the next, but just depends on what you're looking for. This one being first, I would say, hey, let's identify all the times where we had the chain that said this: Lin Reg, Vol, Bear, XA9. Let's go here, and we're going to say, if Z chain equals Lin Reg, Vol, Bear, XA9, and remember at the end of this, at the end of whatever we're adding, when we're putting our chain together, it also has a comma, right? So comma. If it equals that, then plot 54 low entry black. Okay, so these would be your potential entries. So let's get this one out of here. Okay, so you have these as potential entries. Quite a number of these other entries under the 9 here, so I'm not liking that, but let's see. But you see, like under here, it works pretty well. But that's just the idea with this condition chaining. So obviously you need to tailor it more to get better values. Let's do, instead of working with these time points, which are low liquidity, maybe high volatility, let's go to, let's just say if it's during market hours. So if it's Eric's market, then Benjamin, then begin. And let's clear this because we're going to redo that. Verify it. So now we have fewer line items, but they are during more reliable, consistent times. So we're going to come back over here. We're just going to go through the whole thing all over again. Paste that, Control, import text wizard, delimit it yes, comma, that. Come over here, hit text join. The delimiter is that, false. And we're going to join these. And then for this, we're going to look for the unique ones out of, well, I guess we need to go ahead and do that. Hopefully I can do this without, can I do that? I'll call him false, false, hit that. So we have far fewer now. Count if range out of these. Well, see, I think it goes to here. Count if it's, oh, count within this. We're going to look for it to be this, that. Drag that down. Okay. All right, so this is so it's 2018 here. All right, so this is what I would typically like to do. So come over here and you could sort this as part of an array. Is that part of an array now? Okay, what I'll do is I'll copy this, put it over here, paste it, copy the values. Okay, and then I can sort it from there. There's probably another way to do it. I don't know what it is. Let's sort by this row, largest to smallest. So this is what we're looking for. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll say if the Z chain is that, 1, 2, that or that. All right, so we're looking for linreg vol, x89 linreg. We'll make that black, that first one black. The second one will be linreg vol bear x89. We'll make that one blue. And then we got linreg bear x89 and then linreg. We'll make this 55, 56. Make this red. Verify. Okay. That is a lot going on, and on this day, it didn't seem to work. Let's see what it looks like on other days. Black, 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 black. Blacks are supposed to be the best, and then the blues, and then the red. Yeah, the blacks are the best. Blacks are definitely the best. Now, why did this one show up? Because this one is above the... Oh, because the black one... Yeah. Well, it just says it has to be that order. It doesn't... Okay, and that order there says x89 is over here, so maybe one of these qualify for the black. All right. All right, well, I mean, there you have it. That's a way to work on condition chaining and then also use data analysis to kind of whittle down some of the, get some meat and potatoes. Now, one that I put together last night, it had, I mean, it was very similar to this, but let's see, that one is, this one. Okay, these blues here, blue, and these are very good actually, which is kind of crazy. But I use the same method that I just showed you. Blue, that blue not as good, but blue. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Again, I use the exact same method. The workspace that I use to kind of solve this, solve the mathematics parts of crunching the data is here, condition chaining. This so I use something called trend bearish. I use ticks, which is volume, the 9-period moving average, and there's trend bearish again. But I did the exact same thing. So I mean, it's definitely possible that it can help you. Whether or not it is the end all be all, I don't know. But I have a lot more. Anybody who follows this channel at all knows that I look at a lot more other than just 9-period moving average, volume, whether it's in a trend or not. I look at a lot more than that. So if I'm able to apply some of my other data collection schema to this condition chaining, plus I add some other things I do, I might just be in for some much improved entries. Anyway, I hope somebody got something out of this. If you did, by all means, leave a like, leave a comment, share it with somebody. If you don't, I won't be crushed. I just won't be. But I do appreciate anybody who kind of comes on and watches the videos, because it's exciting to get excited about something, and I'm always excited about this program and stuff, and when I get another little edge in the market. So I hope some of you are following along and will continue to work on your success with programming, because again, once I really find some nuggets, I'm going to be like every other programmer that's done very well with the market. You probably won't hear from me. So I've put up a lot of videos. I've given a lot of content. I've shown you a lot of my growth throughout the years, this last couple of years. And when I get to the point to where I'm able to, my work, my ethic, my persistence, when it's starting to pay off, I'm going to be somewhere relaxing instead of making videos for people who are not even jiving in. I promise you, and that's not to say that you need to comment. I'm just saying that I'm not sure how many people I'm really helping. And so as I get toward the end of this journey, I will try to spend more time, with the family and doing things that excite me other than just making videos that fall into an endless pit. Anyway, that's my soapbox. I'm sorry, guys and gals, but y'all have a great holiday weekend, and yeah, hugs and kisses to your families. All right, I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.